Hey, everybody, welcome back to another segment of AWS On Air, where we go over some of the latest and greatest launches here at AWS. I am Todd Fortier. I'm a senior solutions architect here at AWS, where I focus on developing solutions for what we call the AWS Solutions Library. If you've got a second, go check that out. But I am also joined by one of my favorite co-hosts, AM. Hey, it's a pleasure to be here with you, buddy.
Todd. Such a charmer. I'm AM Grabelny. I'm a developer advocate for Game Day here at AWS. Excited to learn alongside you, Todd. I think we're going to be talking about one of my areas that I'll be honest with you, Todd. I'm a little hesitant sometimes when I have issues with this particular part of the stack. We're going to be talking databases here. Do you have a lot of database background in your work, Todd?
Only out of necessity. Luckily enough for me, over the course of my career, I've been able to work with some really talented and smart database administrators who I've been able to punt a lot of the database work. But on the rare occasion I've had to get deep, and I can remember I've started off in .NET, right? So I started off with like Microsoft SQL Server and doing SQL tracing through the monitoring tool and having no idea what I was looking at. But, enough research and messing up, I eventually got where I needed to go. But it is a challenging thing to do, trying to understand where your application is performing, especially on that data access side. It can be really hard. And I'm excited to kind of hear what we're doing here at AWS to make that easier, both for DBAs, but also developers like myself.
Just for me, too.
And
So, But yeah, so I think we're going to hear about a tool that's about to help the both of us when it comes to tuning and performance around a database. Yeah. Hey, Felix, how's it going?
Hey, hello. Happy to be here.
Welcome to the
So
show.
tell us about yourself, please.
Yeah, so I'm a senior product manager in Amazon CloudWatch. I'm here very excited to show you what we have had in the oven for the last time. And I think it's going to be exciting news.
Yeah, I think I'm excited to learn about this. So we're talking. So help us orient where we're starting here. We're talking about AWS. We're talking about Amazon Aurora, if I'm not mistaken. So within Aurora, what have we done?
Yeah, so basically we are here to show you CloudWatch Database Insights, which is going to be opinionated observability experience that has been curated by our own Amazon database specialists, and it provides like built-in dashboards, predefined alarms, recommendations, and at the end it's about helping DBAs and application developers to troubleshoot faster across the whole application stack, including databases and the application level.
I love that. So you talk about opinionated observability experience, Felix. What does that mean exactly? What are we, if we were to open up, and I really hope we're going to open up CloudWatch Database Insights later, we're going to open it up, what are we greeted with?
Yeah, so what we mean by opinionated is that we are making it very easy for you to get started. We are giving you a set of ready-to-go dashboards, alarms, recommendations, predefined thresholds. Basically, we're telling you where we think you should look at. Okay, and we are giving that to you in a way that is fully managed with no agent management, no configuration, just enable it on an Aurora cluster and just it happens.
It's amazing. Speaking of, maybe we want to just jump right into it. What do you think? I mean, it sounds like it might be easier to talk about this if we could see it.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go for it. So now I'm gonna do a quick demo of Database Insights. But before doing that, I want to introduce a little bit of an edge scenario that we have prepared. So I'm Tom, okay, and Tom is a DBA at our famous pet clinic, Close and Post, and he's responsible for managing the performance, security, and availability of databases across the organization. And Tom today has received a few minutes ago a CloudWatch alarm notification for a particular database being under heavy load. Okay, so Tom is going to navigate to the CloudWatch alarms page, as you can see here, and I have this alarm going on. As you can see, over the last couple of minutes, I'm going to look back for an hour. This is actually in alarm because there has been an important spike in database load. So Tom is going to try to troubleshoot the problem, and he's going to use Database Insights for doing that. how can you access database insights? So database insights is located on the left panel in the CloudWatch console, as you can see here, under the insights family of products. Okay, so the first thing that Tom sees when he lands into the database insights world is this fleet health dashboard. Okay, the fleet health dashboard provides you with an opinionated view, as I said at the beginning, of health for your fleets of databases. Okay, and it provides you with a set of pre-built visualizations that will allow you to understand if something might be going on. Okay, so the fleet health dashboard is not the place for troubleshooting; it's more of the place for understanding if something could be wrong. So then you go deeper after that. Okay, so I'm gonna narrow down the time window to the last 30 minutes just to see a little bit of what has happened over the last few minutes when the alarm went off. Before jumping into that, I wanted to show you very quickly here on the left panel the two database views that Database Insights is providing, which is organized around mainly two dashboards, which is the Fleet Health, which is where we are at the moment, and the Database Instance view, which is the deep dive view that we will look into after. But also, very importantly, it provides you with a set of you can leverage properties and tags to build your own custom-defined fleet-wide monitoring views. Okay, so we keep hearing from customers like, look, I have thousands of databases, and as a DBA, I want to look at the health of all of them in an aggregated view, And so here you can leverage resource properties or resource tags just to build your own custom-defined set of fleet monitoring views. So Tom, since he's a DBA at Post and Close, has already defined the fleet view for this particular application for the pet clinic.
Yeah, Felix, I want to pause you right there just real quick. I want to kind of get our audience into the conversation and understand, do they have experience working with databases? I want to hear some horror stories in the chat. I want to see what's the longest query you've ever executed, or maybe something happened and it went out and a tool like this could help. Let's hear maybe what our audience has to say about that. I know for me, the first indication that I have something's gone wrong is somebody reports something on the application side and something's hung, something's not working. And so you're saying what I would do as a developer is I would log into my AWS account. I would go to the CloudWatch service by typing it in that search bar up there. And then on the left-hand nav, I'd go to Database Insights. And the first thing I'm going to see is just a fleet health. Like, how's my overall instance all collectively running? And I'm guessing, because I'm really smart like that green is good, red is bad.
Yeah, so basically here we provide two views as you can toggle. As you can see, alarms and DB load here. Okay, so alarms basically is if red means the instance is under an alarm. Okay, and if you can click, you can see a few instance details, and you can actually filter the view by this instance, and you can see like average utilization. If you toggle the view by DB load, we give you again an opinionated threshold of what we consider high load and what we consider not high load, like let's say just normal utilization. So as you can see here, we have this instance in alarm, which is the APG test cluster 2. Okay, and also here on the right, you can see the time series for that instance in terms of database utilization. Okay, when
Felix,
you click
can I
here,
ask, real quick, we've been talking about Tom, right, at the pet clinic, which I want things to go well for Tom. I'm deeply invested in this pet clinic, and it succeeds, especially if there are cats there. I'm assuming it's a whole cat pet clinic, but beyond that, so Tom is a DB admin, but just as you've been talking, and I've been seeing some of these dashboards, seems to be like these are actually useful for a lot of different people, not just DB admins. It looks like, I've done some DevOps in my life. This would be a really good place for a DevOps engineer to come in and look. And as Todd just said too, as an app dev, when you're coming in and troubleshooting, hey, the application's running really slow. What's going on here? Is it the database? How do I figure that out? Right. So can you talk a little bit about that? I know DB admins are going to make sense in here, but who else is going to use this?
Yeah, actually, you are spot on. Actually, one of the key, in my opinion, key benefits of Database Insights that we are making it easy for everyone. Okay, it's no longer required to have like deep database expertise. Okay, we are giving you a set of dashboards that are very easy to use, ready to go for any sort of profile across your company or your IT teams. But yeah, like it's not only about the DBAs. We are also providing this, as you can see here, the calling services context, which is basically around applications that are calling databases in the fleet. We are also bringing here a set of application level metrics so that if you are an application owner for this application, you can see here that, hey, look, this application is having an increased fall rate. Okay, and maybe the database can be the source of that problem. You shouldn't have a 46% fall rate. And we are like bridging the silos between application teams and DBA teams and making it easy for both.
Yeah, Felix, and I want to kind of zero in on a particular term that you've been using throughout this demo, something that was sort of new to me as I started working within AWS, especially in monitoring and using and getting the full value out of CloudWatch. You said something is in alarm. When it's in alarm, it's not just, hey, there's an alarm going off, but something is currently happening that is triggering this alarm to go off. And that's our first indication, a place where we can kind of zero in on and start. And that's half the battle, right? Like, something's going on, but I don't know where to start, but we've noticed that this thing is in alarm. Now, for database insights, do you set those alarms for you, or is that something I need to do when I start using?
So we give you a set of recommendations on what alarms we believe we should create. But at the end, we understand that at the end, like, alarms are very particular to your own business and to your own application, to your own service level objectives. Now, so we provide you with recommendations, like as in, hey, look, we think you should create an alarm and this, at least on this set of metrics. And this is a recommended threshold, but then it's up to you to create them.
Speaking of metrics and kind of performance, we talked earlier about, opinionatedness and all of that. How are you evaluating database performance? Like, what characteristics of the database performance are you looking at with database insights when you're making these recommendations?
Yeah, it's a very good question. Actually, in order to answer that, I'm going to jump into the instance dashboard for this particular instance, which is the one in alarm. Okay. So, because I'm gonna use the dashboard just to answer your question. So this dashboard is the second dashboard that Database Insights provides. Just to remember, here on the left panel, we have the database views. Now I'm looking at the second level in the hierarchy. And as you can see, when we land into the Database Insights world for a particular instance, what we see first is the database load widget, okay? And that's the key metric in the Aurora world, okay? That's the key metric that we look at, and that's the metric that is at the center of the whole experience. The database load metric measures the number of average active sessions, okay, on your database. And a session for us in your database means a connection that has submitted some sort of work into the engine and is waiting for a response. Is usually the best indicator for any performance problem that can happen in your database. So that's why that's the most important metric and the metric that we are constantly looking at. Okay. Very nice.
Cool. What about things like long running queries? That's an area that I've, as an app dev, we want to push those query runtimes down to help with latency, for example. Is that something I can learn about in Database Insights?
Yeah, so we provide multiple, as I said at the beginning, we provide multiple views for SQL query monitoring. Okay, so the first one is based on DB load, okay, which is this tab here where we have the DB load analysis, and we have here all the multiple dimensions that the DB load metric has. One is the top SQL, okay. So here we are looking at particular SQL statements that are producing most of the load on your database, okay. It's not necessarily errors, and it's not necessarily long-running queries. You can have a query that is introducing a lot of load and is running for a short period of time, okay. Once you click on a query, okay, you can see the execution plans for that query, if there is any. In this case, we have this execution plan that is a full index scan, okay? So that's why it's introducing actually so much load, because it's a little bit inefficient, let's say. But maybe it's what we want. Like, having load on your database is not necessarily something bad, because we want to utilize our databases, no? And we also provide a per SQL dashboard of metrics, where you can see highly granular statistics for each individual SQL, okay? And again, this is mostly focused on DB load, okay, on the load that those queries are putting into your database. We have another angle to look at queries, which is slow running queries. Okay, and we can access those by clicking into the database telemetry tab, where we provide this centralized view for all telemetry across metrics, logs, events, and slow SQL queries. So if we click on the slow SQL queries here, it takes a few seconds to load, because what we are doing in the background basically is we are running a machine learning algorithm to detect patterns that are happening on your on your queries. Okay, so once we detect the patterns, as you can see here on the left, you can also see the specific queries that match with that pattern, and you can see the average duration and the P95 and P50 statistics for those running queries. So here I have like a million, more than a million in the last 30 minutes, because I'm introducing a lot of load for the demo, and that's why it's taking a few seconds to load. But we can see here, yeah, as you can see here, in this case, I have only one query that matches this pattern. And here I can see statistics for this SQL query in terms of duration. Okay, so here is where you can see, oh, look, this query has been running for, I don't know, 3 hours. Is that what we want? Is that what I want? Is that what I don't want? You know, this is the P95, and here we can see that the P95 is around 13 milliseconds, which is okay. Like it's not a very long running query. So this doesn't look like the source of the problem. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say.
You know, we definitely cut you off, because I think Todd and I both got very excited about the features within Database Insights. We've got a story here that you were trying to tell us about, Tom. Do you want to? We got about 3 minutes left. Do you want to talk about what Tom figured out was the issue and how he did that?
Yeah. So as I said at the beginning, like Tom received a high spike on database load. Okay, and actually, there is one SQL query that is producing most of the load on the database. Okay, but looking at the execution plan as we did, it doesn't seem like something that we don't want. So it may be like, okay, it's introducing a lot of load, but maybe it's desired load. Okay, so he's gonna keep troubleshooting, and he's gonna do that by looking at the logs. Now with Database Insights, you have this centralized view for metrics, logs, events, and almost every piece of telemetry that your database is produced. And I'm gonna just search for errors in my logs. And again, I can do this directly from the DB Insights page without navigating through different consoles and so on. So when I search for error, I actually see there are a few errors going on. Okay, as you can see here, there is round table does not exist. So there seems to be some sort of error going on. So, and also I remember, or if you remember, when we were looking at the fleet health, we observed that there was actually a dependent calling application having an increased fall rate. And that was at the fleet level. So I'm going now to look into the calling services tab, but at the instance level. This means like, what are the service operations and application services that are calling this database? Okay, and what are the metrics of those? And as you can see here, I have a 50% fall rate on this particular operation for the PostgreSQL query. So I'm gonna click there just to see what's going on. And when I land here, I'm actually landing into the CloudWatch application signals dependency dashboard for this particular dependency. Okay, CloudWatch application signals is CloudWatch application performance monitoring tool, as you might know, and it gives you an application level view of all your dependencies and an application level metrics like fall, errors, and latency. So I'm going to try to see correlated traces for this particular increased error fault. So I'm going to try to find, second.
Hey, Felix, while you're bringing this up, there's something I really like about this demo. As an SA at AWS, I talk a lot about the well-architected framework, and I feel like this launch has an opportunity to touch on so many pillars of the well-architected framework, right? We have monitoring that helps you become operationally excellent. We have performance, because of this, we're going to have better performance in our database layer. Reliability, making sure things are working as they're intended. Even security. I mean, I could see maybe there's something fishy going on, and something goes on in alarm because of that, and this might be the first indication of that. So I think there's a lot of really good stuff here. But Tom, he's got to be the hero here. There's millions of cats' wellness on the line. What's Tom? Where's Tom at? Did we get it loaded?
I think we're actually we're not going to get a resolution to Tom's story. I think we are at time, unfortunately. I do really love, Felix, that you just showed us here the connection between database insights and application signals. That's really cool. It took us directly to application signals. I'll give you 20 seconds to wrap up here. Where can I get started with database insights? What do you want people to walk away knowing?
Yeah, so getting started with databases is very easy. You just can enable it on your Aurora clusters by on the RDS web service. That's mostly it. Once you enable it, just everything will automatically happens, and we will start the telemetry collection and the dashboard population and everything in CloudWatch.
I love it. Go out, try it. All right, Todd, take us out.
I'm going to go enable this right now and click around and see what it is. But hey, Felix, thanks for coming on. Great launch for our audience out there. Go check out Database Insights and CloudWatch for Aurora.
Thank you.